Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!
Welcome to Flat Earth Debate Live. I'm your host Nathan Oakley, and if you are new to this channel, or you've not done so already, then be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. If you would like to support this channel, there is a super chat that runs alongside each of these shows while they're live. There's also a PayPal, Patreon and crypto link in the info box below the video. Most importantly, if you'd like to join the discussion right here, right now, simply mute the page you are currently watching. Then click the link in the info box below this video to join the panel and express your views on the shape of the Earth. If you do join, please don't swear. If you do, you'll be ejected, and if you are, please don't try to rejoin the stream using sock accounts. You'll be warmly welcomed back on the next stream. Please also share the show on Facebook and Twitter. Sharing the show obviously increases the live audience, but this in turn increases the chances of a more diverse panel. So please share the show. And one last time, if you're new to this channel or you've not done so already, then be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. Now we are joined by Arwin, Chocolate Saiyan, Chris, Zachary Zabala, otherwise known as Good Times for All, Paul, Ranty Flat Earth, Sleeping Warrior, and Quantum Eraser. Very good to have you all.
Good afternoon.
Hello. Good morning.
Good
Ready
morning.
for round two?
Yeah.
Thank you for having me, Nathan.
It's a pleasure. Shout out to the Mind of God for the super chat during the break between the two live shows. Thank you very much indeed. We didn't even get... We didn't even get through housekeeping last time, so I'll see if we can rattle our way through it this time. Any signs of Earth-based curvature?
Nope.
No.
Soundly's Causeway choo-choo train observation. We'll get to that. Go on.
I don't mind doing that straight away.
Yeah, rest in peace to that.
So who's got a good version of Google Earth that they could share right here, right now, on the panel?
I do.
You're lucky I love you.
Oh, okay. Do you want to do it, John?
Oh,
I'm gonna-
you want the panel
gonna-
to see it? Go ahead.
Yeah,
Have
if someone
them
on
do
the panel can do it. Is anybody willing to bring up Google
Sit.
Earth?
Sit down. Sit down. Good boy. I'll do it.
You're screen sharing at the moment, Anthony. Any chance you can bring up Google Earth?
Yeah, I'll have to swap it over. Hang on. Shout out to Slick James, who was rudely removed by Ranty because he's being naughty. So
Shout out subtracted.
Sorry, did you
Shout
say
out
shout out
Ranty.
subtracted?
Damn, Arwen, you were ready for that, huh?
You said, you
Yeah, I
said
didn't even
shout
get the
out
words out.
subtracted. I had shout out
Shout out
subtracted.
subtracted.
As you're trying to do that as we go along, we might do the rest of the housekeeping. Oh, no, we're on it. Right, so any signs of Earth curvature, and John said something about Pontchartrain, or what was it you were saying, John?
It's like choo-choo train, man.
The Lake Choo-Choo train is on screen right now, so we've got Google Earth up, and we can see this line, which is presumably the bridge going across it, right?
Yeah, it's choo-choo train. Have him. Hey, Anthony, go ahead and zoom in on either side of the bridge, the north or the south side. Doesn't matter. Go ahead and get the elevation, not of the bridge, of the shoreline.
Elevation says 6 feet.
Where's your? Oh, that's at the top. They have a whole bunch of rocks. Go down there by the water.
Oh, I was going to say 1 foot then, isn't it?
Yeah, it's about 1 foot. 1 foot, 2 foot, 3 foot down there by the water. Not in the lake. All right. Go to the... Are you on the south end? Go to the north end.
Got to go all around this curve here, this massive amount of curve. Hang on.
I don't see any
Feels
curve.
like we're back.
All
Feels
right,
like we're back doing the Iron Man.
the same routine. Not the bridge, the shoreline.
4, 3, 2, 1. So it's saying sea level.
Right. So how can that be? You got a bridge 24 miles in length, correct?
Yeah.
It has to have, according to their spinning ball-tard space monkey religion, there has to be vertical drop. That means every point along a tangent from your feet falls away from you at 8 inches per mile squared. Is that correct?
Yeah.
If that's true, then how could each shoreline on each side of the bridge be the same elevation? Doesn't that mean level?
Yes, it does.
So how can
Well,
we
they-
have drop? How could we have a level curve?
Can't. It's a contradiction in terms.
Any questions?
Yeah, we need a baller to come and explain this because I think they would say it's relative to the center of a sphere rather than level on a flat plane.
This is depicted when you zoom out as a sphere. So if they're going to claim that it's somehow dropping when you take a picture of something and you can measure that drop, that it drops away from you. What's drop again?
Vertical relief.
Vertical relief from one side of the bridge to the other. But it doesn't demonstrate it on this clearly flat Earth representation. Well, that's not our problem, right, Anthony?
Yeah, I'd say so. We need a baller to come and explain how stupid we are. Any ballers can join us and tell us how stupid we are.
There is a gap on the panel. As always, there's a link in the info box below the video if you'd like to join and explain where we're going wrong here. But I don't take that as an evidence of curvature. I take that as an evidence of a flat plane. Should we move on?
Plus, Ron Hamburg's video from yesterday didn't help them either, with it showing complete flatness from his observation.
Absolutely.
This could be super looming compression.
It could be slightly looming non-standard refraction hyena holographic representations of things that we can't see, but are there in their model, even though mathematically they're not. Any signs of axial rotation of the Earth-based variety? Shout out to Defund NASA for the super chat. Thank you very much.
Nope. No actual axial rotation.
Any signs of an axis? That's
No.
my question.
Only the presupposition. What about scientific evidence of gravity? Any evidence whatsoever?
No.
Scientific would be preferable.
Evidence, but not scientific. It's just aberration.
Where's Slick when you need him?
You don't need him.
Didn't Mr. Hillbilly gas pressure just show that gravity did exist?
No. Inserted it as a presupposition. Is that
He
what,
showed
didn't I
it
just
that
say
it can
that?
be presupposed.
Yes,
as
you
always.
can have a fundamentalist belief in this shit. That's correct. Hey, 10th man, can we see if we can get a sound out of you?
Yes, is this working?
Perfect. Yes, very good to have you. Just in
Yeah,
time.
sorry
Just in
about the trouble.
Just in time for the housekeeping. So, any evidence of the distance to the sun?
Nope. There's
Somewhere in
no
the sky.
confirmed measured distance to the sun.
Any evidence of a self-perpetuating molten iron core at the center of a presupposed spherical Earth?
Presupposed, I guess.
No, I don't think that even in the presupposed spherical Earth there is any evidence of a molten iron core.
Well,
Huh.
no, I meant presupposed, like that first show where the guy had the gas pressure in a container trying to show how it's not in container. It's right in front of him.
Right.
Got just two more. Any evidence of the R value, Earth radius?
R.
Just on my tires.
On your tires? Where?
No, just on my tires. That's the only thing.
Where is R? Show us the evidence of R.
Radial tires. It was a joke.
Yeah, he did.
Oh, I
Or
thought you really
the
want to
radio
give
drive.
evidence to R. Really?
I'll say it a bit slower. Any evidence of the R value, Earth radius?
Oh.
No, Nathan.
Shout out to FE Diplomat for the super chat. Thank you very much indeed. Last but not least, any evidence of gas pressure being maintained without a container?
Nope.
No,
None.
No.
On the outside of a spinning ball.
I've seen it. I've seen it done in Star Trek in the latest one where they used shields, and energy shields to keep in air. It's very convenient. And there was supposed to be.
Wouldn't the shields be considered a container?
Hmm?
I said, wouldn't the shields be considered a container?
Yeah.
Well, not a physical container.
But a container. Even though it's sci-fi and space isn't real, neither is Star Trek.
But they still need a container.
I have something for John on
Okay.
screen.
Yeah.
Might be useful.
Can you see that, John? Quantum eraser.
Yes.
Okay, so 2005, this is the American Meteorological Society, and they are showing how tides work with a cross-section image showing you the difference between high tide, low tide, etc., how it works across an ocean. Well, if this is how it works across an ocean, why is the ocean not curved? Except for where the tides are.
Are you asking me why is
Oh,
the
it's
ocean's
too
not
big?
curved?
No, what I'm saying is this fits in with your argument for Lake Pontchartrain.
New guest.
Hello, Teresa Flower.
Good
and
afternoon.
Sapphire.
Good afternoon. It's Mac here. How are you guys
Hi,
doing?
Mac. Good to have you.
Hello.
Evan Sylvester keeps
Thank
ringing
you.
me too.
You'd think if this was a cross section from point A to point B, that you'd have to have the curvature of the Earth, this water has to be curved, and then you'd have to have an extra curve on top of each, wouldn't you, for denoting high tide and low tide? If the Earth was curved.
Did you actually identify the useful nature of this in terms of how there's a differing obstruction? Because so far you've just sort of, to my ears, just made the point that there should be an extra Earth curve if there's an Earth curve on top of these, as you put it, node and high-low tide markings. But
yeah, I mean, to me, this looks like it's just a flat body of water that's got a hump in each position where the high tides are. Exactly how you'd expect it on a flat Earth, as opposed to a globe Earth.
fine, that's what I was waiting for you to do, actually make it as a statement.
Okay, there you go. And this is from the American Meteorological Society.
Ranty, do you have this in the opposite? Where you have a low tide at the shore and a high tide, I guess, in the middle? Or is that possible? Is that how it works?
This is all that's on this particular site.
Good stuff. That concludes the housekeeping.
Hey, Nathan.
Yes.
Well, we got John on the show here. Saturday, you guys are going to do the ball busters, right? On what topic again? I'm sorry.
The Big Bang. It's going to be epic.
Yeah.
Be here or be sphere. 2 p.m. Central, 8 p.m. UK. Ballbusters live.
Good segue.
You should call it Bang Busters.
Big Bang Busters. Oh, that sounds pretty. No, I don't know. Chocolate.
So my question, while John is here, maybe we can go over the first and second law of thermodynamics, because it came up a few times this last week. And it seems like the interpretation of the first law from an atheist or an agnostic comes out a little different than if you use the second law to interpret the first law. So if you take a personality out and a ideology out, and you use the second law, which is a law, to interpret the first, it would bring some context to the conservation issue of energy and also entropy, the second law. Could John take a shot at that? And then I have a few questions once I hear what he says.
Shut it. What? I didn't understand your question.
Well,
What's your question?
We had a few panel members saying that energy can't be created or destroyed. So that proves it was always here. But the second law says that all that available energy is running out. So how can it always be here if it's running out?
That's right. That's the paradox. So, and you got to remember, we're talking about these are natural laws, right?
Precisely.
It only holds sway over nature because they are natural laws. So nature, the best way to say it is when you say these definitions is nature cannot create or destroy matter or energy. That's the first law. So it's best to always start off with that. That remember, they're always natural laws. Does that make sense?
Totally. I got it. But what I'm saying is what happens, just like when people hijack other terms about flat earth or globe earth and all this stuff, is when they say, and it's been stated here, energy can't be created. They define that as always being there. And that's how they
And
get
I'm going to say again, nature or natural law cannot create or destroy matter or energy.
Thank you very much. This is why I
You're
want to
welcome.
do this today before your show tomorrow.
Yeah. You always start off with that. Now, when you read these laws, they're not going to say nature or natural law. They're going to assume that you already know that's what they are. It's kind of heavily implied, but that's the best way to do it. Always start
Yeah.
off with nature or natural law cannot create or destroy matter or energy. And for the second law, in nature, all spontaneous processes result in an increase in entropy of the universe. Those are two summaries of the first and second law of thermodynamics. Good?
Very good. There was a YouTube of John Warwick Montgomery, who it's a 1982 shot on the John Ankenberg show, and he was talking about this, and it's a really good clip. And he's talking that the first law of thermodynamics was not defined or discovered by a preacher or someone who was religious, but science. And then he read the law, which is what you just did verbally. And then he went to the second law. And he did such a great expose. I don't know if someone could pull it up and just play that 5-6 minute mark on him. I don't want to steal his thunder, but it was so good. It's John Warwick Montgomery, John Ankenberg Show, 1982.
No, I wouldn't do that. You could send the link, give Nathan the link, but
Okay.
don't play it. They could copyright strike, man. Don't even try that.
I think I.
So
have you got
even
anything-
if you just play the sound?
No, definitely not. Anyway, did you have anything else to add? Great point.
I have something to add. He said that science discovered the laws of thermodynamics. Let me tell you something. Natural laws are not scientific. They do not enter the scientific method. I know people are going to get their panties in a bunch over this one. I've taught on this before. So they're not scientific. They're just natural laws. Does everyone follow that?
I think the point he was trying to make, I know what you're saying, and I agree 100%. I think the point he was trying to make is he's using their statements against them. That's all.
Something
Yeah,
else.
does everyone
Can I say
understand
something
that?
too? I think John almost.
Does everyone understand that? Because the scientific method is concerned with cause and effect, right? What's the cause of entropy? Best wishes.
Hey, John, I don't know if you're going to deal with this or not, but it's also been brought up on here. The infinite regress fallacy. I don't know if you're going to address that at all, but maybe try to unpack that. How
Didn't
even
I
time
address
itself
that
would
the
have to
other
have a
day in the
beginning.
4-hour megathon? Infinite regress fallacy. Richard Dawkins redox. Who created the creator's creator's creator? That's an infinite regress. It's a never-ending feedback loop. Is that good?
I know, but I don't know if you can try to unpack it more in detail and explain why it doesn't work and even how it relates to cause and effect, that kind of thing.
Well, it's a regress fallacy. It's the argument's void because it's a fallacy. So, like I said, I did it on the megathon. But if anyone wants to go back and see that, they can go back and pull that up.
Hey, John, you said
As much
said
as I'm
something.
not religious, that argument for me just stops at the creator.
Not much.
Hey,
Right.
John, you said a word there, loop. Now,
I'm
Anon
getting a
used the word
lot of
loop, but
feedback, man.
no, I know, but
Zach,
just hear
can
me
you
out.
just hold on 1 second? Zach, can you pop yourself on mute?
Ready?
Yeah. So let me continue on that loop because Anon says it's just looping, but wouldn't looping be creating? And since energy can't be created, he can't use loop, and it's not in the first law anyway.
I didn't hear you.
I've
I
muted
said,
Zach. Sorry.
oh,
Can you repeat it
no,
the
it's all right.
third
Go ahead,
time?
Nathan. Okay. You want me to do it or did you hear me?
If you can just say it once more.
Yeah. Anon referred to the energy as looping, but by doing so, he violated law of non-contradiction because he says it can't be created. So if it loops, who's creating it?
Yeah, energy. Energy. Did he say energy is looping? Is that what you said?
Well, when you said the second law of thermodynamics, all that available energy is running out, entropy. Anon's only go place, and hopefully he could join the show and say what he said again, is okay, so it's being recreated, or he didn't say it that way, he said looping. So the whole point, if it's running out and you can't create anymore, it just shows there was a beginning. Someone made it that way with those properties.
Yeah, the nature only moves one way, and that's for increased entropy. It doesn't loop. The process is irreversible.
Yeah, but on that mega 4-hour show, he kept saying looping and no one caught it. And I'm bringing it to the forefront because the first law doesn't say looping anywhere. In fact, if it did, that means it's on a rerun tape and it's got to be recreated, but you can't create it because the first law says it can't be created. So it doesn't make any sense.
Wait, I missed something.
You didn't. It's not looping. It's increasing entropy. Simple.
The creator on the two ontological primitives. Nathan, can you say those two so I can finish out this segment on that question?
Sure. Nature or intelligent design. As an answer to a question, where did it all begin?
So we're down to those two. So now in those two, nature is a closed system. There's no God outside of it. So that's it. That's all there is. Whereas if it's a creator, the creator, as you and others have said, can create any rules to anything the creator wants. He's not bound by those rules. So what if the creator made those natural laws for the natural world, the creatures he made? Obviously, that makes more sense because then it would not violate the second law of thermodynamics. But when atheists say there is no creator, nature did it, the second law kicks their butt because the second law contradicts them. It's running out. Well, running out means an end. An end means a beginning. Had to have started. Can't
Well,
always
both
be here.
laws
It's not
kick their butt.
now.
Both laws kick their butt.
I agree. I agree.
Okay, while we're on the subject of entropy, maybe 10 minutes ago, Chris threw up a message that said that he'd had a baller response in terms of this claim to violate the second law of thermodynamics in the form of a demonstration using containers. Chris, hopefully he's there.
Yeah, and I don't know what it's worth. I can read it, but he says what happened in this observation, and by the way, this guy agrees that it is with a container. But he says what happened in this observation was that the pressure at the top of the pipe was approximately 1 atmosphere and the pressure at the bottom was higher, much like the atmosphere, because there is no dome. Now, this would not be a violation of second law of thermo because the pipe was not an isolated system. If the pipe was capped and he got the same results, then it would violate second law, like our gradient pressure if there was a dome. The sheer fact that we have a pressure gradient on Earth proves that there is no container.
Well, there's a bunch of problems with that. Number one, this is just a dressed up gas pressure gradient argument. So it's a red herring fallacy because which comes first? Gas pressure or gas pressure gradients?
Gas pressure.
So how do you have gas pressure without a container? Okay, after you answer that question, that's the argument. Then we can talk about gas pressure gradients, which I already did on ball busters. They can go back to that one. So that's the biggest problem in that argument. They're missing the actual claim. They're answering a sidebar, which is a red herring fallacy. It's just a simple diversion. They
So
probably don't even
technically,
realize they're
first
doing it.
you have to have a container. First comes the container, then comes the gas pressure, then comes a gradient. Right?
Say that again, Armin.
First comes the container, then comes the gas pressure, and then the gradient in the
Yes.
in the gas pressure.
Yeah, you can't have a gas pressure without a container first. It's necessary antecedent. Too simple. There was a couple other problems wrong with his statement. I didn't catch all of it, but we could just take that one and destroy it. It's just, like I said, a simple red herring fallacy. Gas pressure gradients. They always go there first because I don't know why. It's like Pavlov's dog. They all parrot each other. They don't realize what they're doing.
Gradient.
How long did
They absolutely do realize what they're doing. People like the Rumpus knows that he knows that we're not living on a sphere because he realizes that there are problems with the model. He just won't accept it, and he'll still preach to people that everything's explained perfectly with the model, regardless of whether it's actually explained or not.
According to Rumpus, air is not the atmosphere.
Say that again, Joe.
Just let that marinate. Air is not the atmosphere.
That's a quote from Rumpus, just in case that gets taken out of
I
context
remember
because
that.
it was disjointed. There is a quote from Rumpus. Would you like to repeat that quote, please, Quantum Eraser?
Air is not the atmosphere. Do we want to
End
see
quote.
it? We need to see. This needs to be documented. So, hold on one second. All right, hold on one second. I'll go ahead and... All right. Share screen. Tell me when it's up. Is it up?
Have you got it in yet?
Yeah, I see.
Yes, it's up.
All right, here we go with the Rumpus. This says 11 months ago. It was about 3 years ago. I went ahead and just in case it got deleted. So you utter moron. And as you can see down here, air is not the atmosphere. So there you go. Any questions?
Oh, he actually wrote this himself. I thought it was something maybe he said, and you would have quoted him. He wrote this. Ooh.
Yep.
Okay.
You must have been spiraling at the time.
Air is not atmosphere, bro.
Yep, this is who you're dealing with, people. Air is not the atmosphere. That's who you're dealing with here.
I almost want to go into Jose's right now and just ask them, like, guys, is the atmosphere consistent of air?
Well, the thing is, people that go into Jose's are the ballers that died here. They don't exist here anymore. They've gone down a tier or two, and that's why they're in Jose's.
They're like the washed up Legion of Doom.
Yeah.
There's also some really good ones in here too. The atmosphere rotates with the surface of the Earth and is in the same reference frame. So, Rumpus, how do you have the Coriolis effect? You frigging clown. We won't even go. We don't need to go there. We'll just stay here. Air
Multiple
is
reference
not
frames into the reference frame.
Air is not the atmosphere, folks. Can somebody look up the meaning of atmo? Can somebody
Atmo
do
just
that
means
for me?
air.
I can repeat that, Anthony.
Atmo just means air. That's why I use the word atmo, because atmo just means air, and that's what we have. The minute you say atmosphere, it makes people think ball, right? Think about it. Even if we did live on a ball, you wouldn't actually call it atmosphere unless we lived on... Well, you wouldn't... Even if we lived on a ball, you wouldn't call it atmosphere. You'd just call it the air. They have to call it atmosphere to make you. It's like word association. When you say Jordan, you think big boobs or whatever. You think atmosphere, you think sphere.
Most people outside of
look
England
at the game
don't
they play
think...
with words, though, right? Because it's atmosphere, but then they got airplane. So
Yeah,
we have
words are important, they're right.
airplane flying through an atmosphere. Why
Well,
wouldn't they call it an air sphere?
It started out
Or
as
something.
hold on. It started out as science language, basically. Like the wizardry, they started up around when NASA came up. It was like the new science language, and it kind of slipped in. It was normalized. So,
Which is the
If you're
reason
gonna
why we
create
say the phrase science has been raped by pseudoscience.
but it is like
That's what I'm saying.
futurism, and then they just make it real.
Hey, is my screen still sharing?
Yeah, I had a different Earth picture a moment ago, but yeah, what yes, you are.
Oh, hold on. Wait 1 second. Smoke him if you got him.
I just
There's
want to point out
no
that
globers left to smoke, though. That's the problem now.
there's going to be no, well, I don't know, 15% of the audience that will associate the word Jordan with big boobs. Most of the audience will not. Hey, how you doing, Tim? How you doing?
Can you explain that one to me?
Hold on, I've got a new guest. Hey, Tim, how you doing?
One sec.
Oh, it is him. What is the word association with Jordan if it isn't big boobs?
What is it?
Only for Brits. None of the other anybody who's outside.
Okay, so Jordan's a glamour model that had unusually big boobs.
Oh.
So I want to make a point here. There is something called an argument from fallacy. It's an argument from fallacy is a formal logical fallacy of analyzing an argument and inferring that since it contains a fallacy, its conclusion must be false.
Yeah, that's the fallacy. And?
No, it's argument from fallacy.
Yeah, same as the fallacy.
Does it change? So are you trying to say that we can have a gas pressure without a container?
No, I didn't say anything about that.
No, you're just pointing out a logical fallacy. Great, that's great. That's true. Wonderful. Thank you.
What does John think about that fallacy? Because he continues to commit it.
Ooh, accuse.
He does.
Does anybody not understand the fallacy that Tim's just detailed? If you don't, feel free to say yes.
I don't, Nathan. Would you like to explain it to us?
Sure. The assumption that because a logical fallacy has been employed to make a demonstration or pull apart an assertion, that automatically makes the assertion false simply because a logical fallacy has been employed to make the example. So, I'll probably butcher this, but if we have ipso facto got a red car, and I say, if we have unicorns, then my car will be red. My car is red, therefore we have unicorns. That's a terrible example because it doesn't use the red car. I can't think of a butchered example on the spot, but the point is that the outcome of the logical fallacy might actually be true. Just because it's been formulated into a logical fallacy doesn't automatically make it false. However, in the cases that we assert logical fallacy, we would ask you to actually demonstrate proof of the thing being presupposed. So in the case of if the Earth is a sphere, we will see antipodal star rotation. We see antipodal star rotation, therefore the Earth is a sphere. We would ask you to
makes that argument, though.
I hadn't quite got there. I would ultimately ask you to prove your presupposition. So in this instance, if the only proof is the logical fallacy, that's not a fallacy, Tim.
No one makes that argument. Again, I'll say that.
You do.
You make that argument.
I've got plenty of times that you've made it.
4 years.
It's actually straw man
you made it
Clowns show.
You're a liar, Tim. You make that argument.
So John speaks up now. I'm just wondering, why do you continue to commit
I just got back.
John?
Sorry. I
John
had to
is
take
a
care of
walking
something. I just got
fallacy.
back.
Don't mind him.
Hold on. No, Tim's laid a charge at your feet, so let's just repeat it. So he's saying you're guilty of the fallacy.
How so?
You just said probably 10 minutes ago that basically all fallacies make an argument false.
I didn't say that. I never said that.
Okay. You didn't say that at all? Not even an interpretation of what you just said?
No, I never said that. Quote me.
Oh, well, when this is up, I will, actually.
Oh,
I can put it
well, no,
together
you
for
won't, because I never said that. I would never say that. If somebody employs a fallacy, it makes the argument, listen up, void. Go listen to my logical fallacy presentation.
Yeah, so void, what do you mean by void? You mean false, or what do you mean?
What does void mean?
I don't know. What do you mean? Because you're the one recreating words around
Empty.
it. So what do you mean?
Void. I didn't just recreate the word void, you dipshit.
So will you define it for me so I know what you're talking about? Everything proves God.
Add one side. Hold on, you both sides talk over each other. So
Comes from null and void.
Hold on, Owen.
It means
Just let me give one bit of
negated and
clarity.
empty.
The argument becomes void. The argument.
Okay, so all of his arguments when he uses fallacy are void then, correct?
Give an example of a fallacy he's used.
He's not inferring that it's incorrect to use a fallacy in an argument?
The argument is void. What does logic mean? What is the definition of logic?
You know very well I know logic, reasoning, and actual
why I'm asking
fallacies.
you. I know you'll give a good
applying fallacies to everybody.
Sure.
You wouldn't know what logic was if it landed on your head, spun around, and whistled Dixie.
I'm talking to Tim.
You don't even know what elevation is, John.
Ugh. I know you'll give a good definition. So what's logic, Tim?
What is logic? Why are we even going over that?
Because we're detailing where something isn't logic, i.e. fallacy.
He likes to go over tangents.
We're talking about logical fallacies.
Ask him. He doesn't even know where he is. Ask him his name.
Yeah, he won't give us that. Right, Tim?
Well, anyway, let's talk about John and his
Isn't it Jason Carl?
Oh, your names aren't Tim.
Let's talk about John and how he doesn't understand elevation, how he's going to the Pontchartrain on Google Earth and looking at 3-foot elevation.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and put that.
That's embarrassing, John, because we actually, 80 and below this show right here, we're talking about much to do with elevation and how the sphere works. So how do you think
you have a level curve, Timmy? How can you have a level curve, Timmy?
People and not talk over people, or are you just going to continue to talk over people?
How can you have a level curve, Timmy?
So you think that's a valid argument that there's 3-foot elevation on this side and 4-foot elevation on that side? Do you think that's really a valid argument, John?
Yeah, because according to your spinning ball space monkey religion, every point along a tangent from your feet drops. Vertical drops away from you at 8 inches per mile squared.
This just proves that you really don't understand. You're out of your
What
depth.
proves? You didn't say anything yet. What proves?
No, you just proved that you're an idiot, basically.
Oh,
you don't
yeah.
understand elevation
Great
on a sphere.
argument. Great argument.
You'd expect that it would be negative or something?
You got any
actual arguments? Would expect drop.
You would expect drop.
Yeah, that's what your religion says. Do you even know the tenets of your religion?
Isn't it funny how a very religious...
That's funny coming from you, John.
Isn't it funny?
Yeah.
Hold on.
Isn't
Can you
it
just
funny,
let Tim and Quantum Erasure?
I just want to say that it's funny to me that people that are funky Christians go around and call people religious and say that they don't have a religion.
You're a fundy materialist. I'm not I don't believe in
religion. You said I was a
religion.
materialist. Why are you talking to me, John?
You're a fundy materialist. You don't even know what level means.
While the ad homs are going on, thank you very much, Winnie the Brew Bear. Thank you very much.
You understand that level is flat. Let's go over a couple definitions here, Timmy. From Merriam-Webster, level, to make a line or surface horizontal, make flat or level. Level synonyms, flat.
Why are you looking at synonyms?
Plane.
Why are you looking at synonyms?
Flat, plane. Excuse me, I'm still presenting here. Level, flat, plane, even, smooth, means having a surface without curves. You understand this? You know what drop means? To fall vertically. Fall vertically. Height, altitude, elevation mean vertical. You understand that? Go ahead.
Why are you looking at synonyms? Synonyms are not a complete
Not looking at that
equal.
was just added. I just defined these for you.
I almost got my words out, John. Almost.
Go
Why are you
ahead,
looking at
Timmy.
synonyms?
This
Why are
is
you
not a
looking at
synonym,
synonyms?
Timmy.
Again,
He's just answered you. He's not.
he just read out synonyms, did he not?
Definition.
I just read out a
Level.
definition too, Timmy.
The definitions.
Oh, okay. So 2, that means he did, Nathan. He did read out
This
synonyms.
is
Okay.
retarded.
Yeah,
Let's get that
and
straight.
the definition. So typically, when you look up a definition, underneath it has synonyms. He's read out the definition and given synonyms as it would be presented if you looked up the definition of most things.
So level, the first one is a horizontal plane or line with respect to the distance above or below a given point. So that would be the radius of the Earth, John.
Where does it say that? Sorry.
Where does it say that?
The first definition. Just put it into Google. You can go to Merriam's. You can go to all different places and not just read one definition, but actually look at all of them, John.
Okay, pull it up. Share his
Pull what
screen.
up? Just look up level, the definition. Why do I have
Share
to
his
pull it
screen.
up?
It's not my duty to
I
prove
never
your
said it was your
claims,
duty.
counselor.
It's not
It's
my
your
duty
duty.
either, bud.
So share your screen. I'll go off right here for a second.
Prepared to share the screen, the assertion fails.
The assertion doesn't fail. I just said it was the first definition, and it is.
Go ahead.
Hitchens raised
Share your screen.
that assertions made without evidence can be dismissed without evidence, and we apply it.
Hold on.
So
Someone
evidence
else
is going to be
just-
reading a definition to
Let's
you?
not do this.
Really?
Let's not do this. Someone else. If Tim doesn't want to, no worries. Someone else. Just go
No, let's
type
do
in.
it. Let's do it, actually, because I'm actually right, so we'll see.
Go ahead.
So you're telling me this is not after having just done it on your screen from memory if you Google search?
A horizontal plane or line with respect to the distance above or below a given point.
Right.
Okay. You said radius.
That does on the spherical Earth. That would be the radius or another point. Yes.
Where does it say that? Sorry, can you just point where it says that, please?
On a spherical Earth, it would be a curve, Tim, not
Sorry,
not a flat.
hold on,
hole.
Anthony. Sorry, can you just point to where it says that, please, Tim?
Says what? A horizontal plane or line with respect to the distance above or below a given point.
No,
I'm
radius.
saying on the spherical Earth. That's
Yeah,
pretty
that
much
bit.
the radius or
Yes,
another
that
point.
bit. Where does it say that bit?
Or even from elevation.
Sorry,
or
where does it
from,
say that bit?
sea level
Where
or
does it
whatever.
say that in your definition, Tim? It doesn't seem
I'm
to
just
say that.
expanding on it. This is.
Oh,
just-
you're just expanding on it, are you, stupid fuckwit? We don't give a fuck
here
what
we
you
go.
think, Tim. Your
Here we
definition
go.
doesn't seem to back your assertion.
Here we go.
You're a terrible wizard.
Sorry,
Tim.
Tim.
Drama queen.
Tim, your citation does not back your, what did you call it? Expansion?
Yes.
Yes, that's right. It doesn't back it, Tim. It didn't say the words that came out of your mouth. They're just your expanding on the definition, which did not back your claim, in regards to it meaning drop and curve, which it doesn't.
Tim, I've got a question for you. You okay with the question?
Why don't you just ask it? Why you're asking me a question within that? So then I would have to say yes, which would be
Great.
okay with a question. Yeah, go ahead.
Do you? I'm going to play a clip, so Nathan, mind you, the sound will pass through anyway. You'll hear it. Would you tell me? Do you agree or disagree with the words that come on that you hear next?
Agree. I know we're talking about Coriolis at the moment, but Anthony would agree, I think, that the shape of the Earth is not a question that can be settled by the scientific method, although
Yes.
he'd like to.
So Jeremy states that, and he says Anthony would agree with me that the shape of the Earth cannot be settled by scientific method. Do you agree with Jeremy, Tim?
With the scientific method, I'm sure you could formulate it, not within Quantum Eraser's version of the scientific method, but probably, yeah, you could
What's my
probably
version?
formulate it.
What's my
So,
version?
Yeah. So be clear. So Gem Panda says that Anthony would agree with me that the shape of the Earth is not something that you can like settle within scientific method. Do you agree or disagree with Gem Panda?
I just answered that question. Do you need me to answer it again? Are you going to listen to
Or no? Do you agree with Gem Panda's remarks? Yes or no?
I think you're just trying to put me in a position to say, "Oh, look, they disagree. The ballers disagree."
I am
What a
cornered, and I
clown you
want the
are.
audience to see that you're cornered. So do
I've
you
already
agree?
answered the question. I said that I think it can be formulated into the scientific method, not John's version of it, but
Oh,
it could
what's
be.
my version? Well, we need to see my version of the scientific method, Anthony. He said my version.
Yeah,
Share his
but Tim, Jim never said anything about a version. He just said scientific method.
It
He
doesn't
never said
matter.
anything about John's version.
You're rumpusing the shit out of him. He's replied. Anthony, he's given you a reply. Can you at least acknowledge his reply?
I'm trying to get a word in. So his reply what? The question is, do you agree with Jem Panda? And his answer is, you can probably prove it in scientific method. Is that what you said?
I said you could probably formulate it into a scientific method, yes.
But let's just see what his words were again, because he doesn't say that.
Doesn't matter.
I know it's
That's his
Coriolis
answer.
moment, but Anthony would agree, I think, that the shape of the Earth is not a question that can be settled by the scientific method.
It's not a question that can be settled by. So what I'm asking is now, Tim, if the scientific method cannot settle the shape of the Earth, given the definition of pseudoscience, how do we determine the shape of the Earth?
There's definitely a lot of, I've been going through it for years, actually. Very easy stuff. You just walk outside and do observations.
Yeah, wouldn't that satisfy the definition of pseudoscience and therefore bullshit?
Well, that would also apply to flat Earth, would it not?
Yeah, but we're not saying that we can prove that it's a flat plane. We're saying that you guys can't prove
Did I
it.
ever come on and say that I could prove with the scientific method it's a sphere?
But we're not making...
You said it a number of times.
Or are you strawmanning me again?
I'm not
strawmanning
strawmanning
you. You and your incoherent hordes for the past 3 years have told us that for us to believe that the Earth is flat, we must deny all of science and physics.
Correct.
Have you ever heard that?
Are you guys really going to strawman me again?
Strawman you? How many on the panel have been personally challenged with that
John,
statement?
you're forcing me to do this. Can you cite where Tim has said that?
Like where Tim, I'm
Yeah.
saying
Yeah.
all the incoherent baltards for the past 3 years.
Oh, yeah, it's a straw man.
Sorry,
Just FYI.
that's
Well,
not-
it's a stereotype fallacy. I grant you that. Okay, I'm going to leave Tim go. I grant you that. Okay, guilty as charged. I grant you that. Leave it off Timmy. How many people have been challenged with that statement?
Hold on. Fine. If you're not going to attribute this to Tim specifically, then fine, make your statement, John. But you can't put that on Tim.
Yeah, you're right.
You're
You're right. I can't quote him directly. You're correct. It's a stereotype fallacy. You're right. Guilty. All right, carry on.
Directly.
And I'm not going to go through the years worth of background because we know that generally speaking, you baltards have said this. Specifically, you, Tim, I haven't got evidence to prove that that's true.
He's just said it. You're not listening. This is getting frustrating. Why am I having to argue for Tim? He's given you his answer and you haven't listened to him. He said he feels it could be formulated into the scientific method. So you're now saying I don't have a quote where you've said that. He said it on this show 3 minutes ago.
All right, in that case then, so he disagrees with Jem Panda then?
Yes.
Oh, right, okay, I misheard or misunderstood. My apologies, right. So you disagree with Jem Panda, so perhaps you should do a hate video calling Jem Panda out, telling him that the scientific method can prove the shape of the Earth and for the reasons why.
Why?
I'd like to clear up a question.
This is benign. Why is it that baller joins? Sorry, Paul. A baller joins, and suddenly these benign arguments are thrown at him. You know, he's the one person that I'd expect you to be quote mining him to all hell and, you know, pinning him to a wall. But instead of that, you've got him on account of Ad Populum and Jem Panda.
No, to be honest, I'm just happy that he disagrees with Jem Panda, and I can go back and tell Jem Panda that he's wrong. Tim doesn't agree with him, and that's good enough for me. I'm done.
I'm not even necessarily disagreeing with him, actually. If you would have heard my answer the first time, you might actually formulate that I wasn't. I said that it could possibly be formulated into the scientific method.
Oh, great. So how could we prove gravity in scientific method then, Tim?
I got it up on screen. Oh, I don't. Nathan, can you share my screen? We're going to have Timmy prove using the scientific method.
Respectfully, John, for this one, let's not do this. We know our position on it, but I'd like to know how Tim thinks that we could possibly prove the shape of the Earth.
Yeah, that's what he's doing.
This is kind of the problem, guys, is that we're talking to layman's as far as basically any of the Globers, including myself, that come on. So when they say mass is the independent variable, that's not even true. If you actually look at the Cavendish experiment, it's basically looks like what John presents with the quantum eraser and the double slit.
It isn't. You're a
It's
clown.
okay, go ahead and talk over me. It's much
Yeah, I
more
will,
complex
because you're
than
a clown.
mass
You're
actually
making faceless
is.
Come on,
assertions.
John. Be
Okay, go ahead and
reasonable.
talk over me.
He's making the claim. Let him just make it. What's wrong with that?
He just made it. He said the Cavendish experiment is like the quantum eraser experiment. Well, he's a clown.
Hold on. No. That's not what he said. You didn't hear the end of his statement.
It
What he
is
said
worse.
was
It's much
it's laid
worse,
out,
actually,
i.e. it has a hypothesis that's valid in the same way. Why am I being rumpused? Who's
Yeah,
talking?
you got a non-clown in the background.
Ugh. Right, that's not
Yep.
what he said. He said it's formulated the same as the quantum eraser. He's not equivocating it with it or saying it's the same as. He's saying that the formulation. He's talking about how it's formulated into presumably a hypothesis, although he's saying scientific method. I'll give him that leverage, but that's not what he's saying. Now, if he's claiming that the Cavendish experiment does have a valid hypothesis, great. Hopefully he'll tell us about it, but not if he gets rumpused.
Go, let him go.
Yeah, I don't actually have that pulled up.
Oh, well, you can disregard that then. No worries.
No, what I'm saying is that when Globers say that it's mass is the independent variable, they're actually wrong about that. There is a different independent variable. I can look it up and come back some other time, but it's not formulated in the scientific method as they formulate it. Just let you know.
Yeah, we know.
Hey, Tim.
Yeah, we were well aware of that, Tim. Thank you.
What a strong argument.
Thanks, Tim. We needed you to point that out for us.
But you've never actually expressed.
Yeah, Tim. Thanks. Yeah, we're
Very
dealing
important.
with fundy fuckwits. Thank you for pointing it out. I'm sure they're really appreciative of you pointing that out too. Great work,
Why do you
Bob.
guys use fundy as a bad word when we have a fundy Christian on our panel? Why would you do that?
The name calling, man. Yeah, dad homs.
How is that a name call? You're a creationist scientist, flat earther,
Creationist
dude.
scientist. What's that? That sounds like a no true Scotsman fallacy. What's a creationist scientist?
You don't know what creation science is?
I know what science is. Science is the scientific method.
Damn, I was going to round out the show.
Creation
This
science.
is
You
a
don't know
great
what
conversation.
creation science is, John.
Creation science.
Hold
Yeah,
on,
creation.
lay down some ground rules. One person talks, the other doesn't interrupt, and that goes for the rest of the panel. Just Tim, just John.
Yeah, creation, right? You have a problem with creation? Can you explain how you can't have creation in a second law of thermodynamics? I wasn't done yet.
You're not answering the question.
I wasn't done yet. I wasn't done yet, sir. You said, so you're not a creationist. Can you explain how you cannot be a creationist while standing in direct contradiction to the laws of thermodynamics and quantum mechanics, please?
So creation science is the interpretation of scientific knowledge in accord with belief in the literal truth of the Bible, especially regarding the creation of matter, life, and humankind in 6 days. This guy here on the panel actually is a creation scientist, so...
That's not creation scientist.
Yep.
What is the difference between a creation scientist and just your plain old everyday scientist?
Because they're actually trying to prove their bias. So they have basically a premise that God created everything, and then everything else has to fit that narrative, and that's what you do.
Oh, is that what I do?
Yeah.
Do I do that?
You tie in the quantum eraser experiment into proving God. Yeah.
Do I do that?
Yep.
What about your bias? How
with
did
the Globey.
nature create? Now, let me ask you a question. Was the universe, did it have a beginning? Did the universe have a beginning?
I don't know.
You have no idea. So your position is based on an argument from ignorance fallacy, and you're charging me, a creationist, with saying that it's creation, but you don't know.
No, I'm saying that I personally don't know. You're the one that claims to say that they know, and then you tie everything into religion to prove you're God.
Yeah, it's not religion. Christianity is not a religion, and they do say
Christianity
that the universe
isn't a
had
religion?
beginning.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah, he's
No,
gone
I'm not
off
kidding
the
you.
rails.
How
Shut up and on.
how is Christianity
now,
not
said
a
that
religion?
shut up and on. So you said that they don't
You're
know that the
straw
universe
manning
had a
him,
beginning.
Tim. He's not
Arwen,
constantly tying it in with religion.
Anon. Just
Yes,
let them
he
have
is.
it out. We've only got a few
No,
minutes
he's not.
left of
That's what you're doing.
We've only got a few minutes left of the live show. You can do this in the after show. Just for now, just let him have it out.
So, Timmy, you said that they don't know that the universe
No,
had a
no, no,
beginning.
no. Hold on.
Okay?
I want to go back
Hold
to
on,
how
hold on a second.
Christianity
You said
isn't a
that they don't
religion.
know. So this is astrophysicist Paul Davies. The universe can't have existed forever. We know there must have been an absolute beginning a finite time ago.
I
From
don't care. They
Stephen
also talk about
Hawking.
Big Bangs and crap. I don't believe that. So what?
I didn't say Big Bang. I didn't say Big Bang once.
Okay, so
From Stephen
religion is the
Hawking,
belief
the
in
second
and
law
worship of a
states
superhuman
that
controlling
disorder.
power that
Hold
Excuse
on.
me, I'm not
We've
done
got
yet.
two people talking at once.
I'm not done yet,
Yeah,
Timmy.
yeah.
You said that they didn't know. So we already had Paul Davies. He sure sounds like he knows. Now we're going to have Stephen
I
Hawking.
don't care. That's
put
another
his
straw man.
opinion
Why
on
are you
it.
bringing up
And
other people and trying
they
to
are your
attach it to me?
scientists, correct? The second law states that disorder always increases with time. Like the argument about human progress, it indicates that there must have been a beginning. Sounds like they know.
That's what the
Timmy?
presupposition of the uniformity of nature. I'm not really sure that the
Supposition.
universe has been uniform this whole time. I don't really know, dude. It's honest.
What are you talking about, the uniformity of nature? I'm talking about the second law of thermodynamics and the people that you said that didn't know. They said they don't know. But I just showed you that they do know.
What's to say if this place has been around for billions of years? What's to say that there was a whole different set of physics and stuff when no one was around? What's to
That's
say
a
that?
special pleading fallacy.
But why do you continue to use the fallacy?
That's not
I'm
a
just
fallacy
asking a question.
Timmy. You used a special pleading fallacy.
How so?
To say that the laws of physics have somehow changed in the past
I'm
or
saying that
are
they could
changing in the
have.
future.
I'm saying that they could have. I don't know if they did or not.
Parts the special
I'm
pleading.
saying that it's a presupposition of the uniformity of nature. I don't know.
Oh, I'm not talking about the uniformity in nature. You invoked
I
that.
am.
I'm talking about the second law of thermodynamics. You stated that they didn't know whether there was a beginning or not. Right? But I just showed you that they do know.
What? Again, you're strawmanning me. I never said anything
How am
about
I
these people that you're bringing up. Okay.
How am I straw manning you? You said that they didn't know whether the universe had a beginning or not. I just showed you
When
two
did I say
cases where
that?
they said they did.
I said I don't know, John. Can you listen?
And then you
I said
said
I
they
don't
don't know. So your position is based on an argument from ignorance.
No, it's actually being honest and not trying to attach everything to a god or to a deity or something like that. Yeah.
How can you be in a creation argument if you don't know?
It's called being honest, John. I don't know what happened before I was born. Okay.
Then why are you in the argument?
Because I'm actually just calling out your creation science. Actually.
Oh, here we go again. Timmy,
and
did the universe have a beginning?
Furthermore, I've never met a Christian that says that Christianity isn't a religion. So how is Christianity not a religion?
What does that mean? You never met? Is this an anecdotal fallacy? So this is an anecdotal fallacy from something that you just conjured.
And with that, I'll say if you are watching this on the Nathan Oakley 1980 premiering stream, then stay tuned, as there will be an after show to follow. However, if you're watching this live on Nathan Oakley, unfortunately, this is where we bid you farewell. A massive, huge, enormous thank you to all of today's debating panel, and of course, a massive thank you to all of you for tuning in, smashing the super chat, liking, commenting, sharing, subscribing, and all that good stuff. If you need to keep yourself occupied after this live stream is over, then go to nathanoakley.com and check out the Flat Earth Debate Forum to keep up to date with the community debate. I've been Nathan Oakley, and I'll see you all in the next video. Stay tuned if you're watching on Nathan Oakley 1980.
Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!